Hi, I'm Dr. Celia Williamson from the University of Toledo's Human Trafficking and Social Justice Institute in the U.S. I'm here representing the Global Association of Human Trafficking Scholars, who are researchers that focus on human trafficking around the world. We're comprised of 21 senior research scholars, 31 research scholars, and 61 developing scholars. Members publish the Journal of Human Trafficking, which is a peer-reviewed interdisciplinary and international journal devoted to human trafficking. We also host the annual International Human Trafficking and Social Justice Conference that has been attended by representatives of 50 countries and all 50 U.S. states. In its 20th year, it now serves as the oldest and largest academic and research conference in the world. The following are our human trafficking related recommendations to the G20 based on our research, literature review, and collective knowledge. As we know, human trafficking involves force, fraud, coercion, and manipulation of millions of vulnerable people around the world. In 2016, an estimated 45 million people were victims of some form of human trafficking, of which 24.9 million were vulnerable women, men, and children who were trafficked into the labor trade. That's according to research done by the Global Slavery Index in 2018. Currently, over 50% of these modern-day slaves live in the following 5 countries: China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Uzbekistan, and India. Human trafficking is estimated to be a $150 billion business, according to the U.S. State Department. A significant portion of these funds regularly pass through legitimate financial structures. Business systems, governments, and consumers benefit from this exploited labor, including those products and services in high demand. In terms of consumption, G20 countries import and export $354 billion in at-risk products. The top 5 products include electronics such as laptops, computers, and mobile phones. An estimated $200 billion is garnered from this. Garments, another $127.7 billion. The fish market, $12.9 billion. Cocoa, $3.6 billion. And sugarcane, $2 billion. The transportation industry, the hotel and motel industry, and businesses and consumers purchasing everyday products and goods play a part. Modern-day slaves are involved in handling and processing raw materials to manufacturing and to selling at retail. In sum, the underground economy cannot exist and thrive without the permission, participation, or ignorance of the conventional economy. Some companies continue to receive a lucrative profit off of the backs of exploited and victimized individuals. Governments involved benefit from the goods and services derived from exploited labor. So we request G20 countries to stop sourcing goods and services produced by forced labor. Governments must do more to respond to imports, public procurement, and business supply chains. Both first and third world countries are heavily involved in the daily practices of human trafficking, participating in the recruitment and the extraction of illegal labor. In addition to the legal use of their labor, some victims are also sexually exploited. While exploited, victims are subjected to illegal and unsafe work practices, including long hours, little to no pay, and consistent exposure to dangerous working conditions. With the promise of livable wage employment, victims may be encouraged or coerced to pay a large recruitment fee to recruiters who guarantee them a job within their own country or abroad. In addition, they may pay travel fees and other fees imposed by their traffickers. Once ensnared, they are charged high interest rates, making it impossible for victims of human trafficking to ever pay their debt and earn their freedom. To curb this business that exploits and destroys lives, we support the following recommendations made by the U.S. State Department, which read: the UN TIP protocol, which is widely ratified, mandates the criminalization of money laundering when proceeds are derived from human trafficking and encourages signatories to promote international cooperation between their respective national authorities addressing money laundering. The Financial Action Task Force, FATF, is the global standard-setting body for anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism, and countering proliferation financing. More than 200 countries have agreed to implement the FATF recommendations, which require member countries to identify, assess, and understand money laundering and illicit finance risk and to mitigate those risks. The FATF recommendations provide a useful framework for jurisdictions to address illicit finance related to human trafficking by strengthening their national money laundering laws and policies and by improving coordination and information sharing domestically and internationally. The FATF recommendations also encourage jurisdictions to undertake proactive parallel financial investigations, including by collaborating with public and private financial institutions as a standard practice when investigating and prosecuting human trafficking crimes, with a view to tracing, freezing, and confiscating proceeds acquired through this crime. In the United States, the Bank Secrecy Act mandates that financial institutions monitor and report suspected illegal activities such as human trafficking, as well as certain high-dollar cash transactions. The Bank Secrecy Act permits financial institutions to share information relevant to money laundering and terrorist financing under the legal safe harbor provided by the USA Patriot Act, Section 314B. This reporting and information sharing can be highly useful in tracking and tracing proceeds related to human trafficking. We also recommend the following: that governments should engage in prevention and early detection by educating and training companies and employees, that they engage and enforce the protection for whistleblowers that expose illegal practices involving human trafficking, that governments work to close loopholes in laws that allow corporations and business owners to economically exploit the vulnerable, and finally, to enforce laws that protect vulnerable workers. Organizations willing to provide further expert consultations involve the Global Association of Human Trafficking Research Scholars. Our website is www.gahts.com. You may also want to contact the Global Slavery Index at www.globalslaveryindex.org. Thank you.